Ladies and gentlemen, what is up? Welcome back for another episode of the best small town, real life, homegrown podcast on the market. It is made for down to earth people just like you. If you're new to the podcast, we're glad to have you. We're super grateful that you found us, and we want that chance to earn your support. So I will do my best to make this worth your time. It's kind of up to my guest as well. So he's got to do his part. But if I succeed, or if we succeed, all I ask is that, hey, if you enjoyed it, like, follow, subscribe wherever you're listening or watching, and then head over to social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. You'll see episode preview reels. You'll see bonus pictures. You'll see all kinds of stuff. We do merch giveaways from time to time, not as many as my guest does, but we do merch giveaways sometimes. So be sure and follow us there. We're trying to create something good, something encouraging, yet challenging and entertaining at the same time. It's kind of a mixed bag here. So, and let me tell you, we got a good one for you today. Let's see if I can hype this guy up a little bit right here. Our guest today is an avid hunter, fisherman, and all-around outdoorsman. He's passionate about all aspects of conservation of our wildlife and an expert, in my opinion, in land management, creating absolute havens for the majestic Iowa whitetail. So it's no surprise that he is the face of every Iowa deer hunter's favorite company, Trophy Bucks of Iowa. But it's not just about hunting, fishing, and cooking gourmet wild game meals for this guy. He's just like most of us. He's a family guy. He gets up every morning, kisses the wife and kid goodbye, and then heads to work at the machine shop. While most of us are employees, just the regular grunts on the shop floor, this guy has a passion for being an entrepreneur. He's, in my opinion, a titan of Northeast Iowa industry and is actually part owner and director of sales at Innovative Manufacturing and Engineering in Des Moines. He's not just a shop floor grunt like the rest of us. But don't let that fool you. Based on his Snapchat stories that he's always putting out there, he likes to keep the mood in the office light. So he took that whole open door policy to a new level, and he instituted his own open window policy for the local squirrel searching for food. And we're going to let him explain that one here in just a minute. So, of course, I'm talking about Brandon Dahms. What is up, man?
How you doing? I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. Glad we could make it happen. You're a busy guy, just like anybody else. It took a while to get it done, but you hung in there with me, and
Yes,
we're
thank you for
here.
being patient. Your snaps helped me stay aligned, and I'm glad we're here.
And that's weird because you start these, for people who don't know, when we start committing to an episode, it's all email. But then
Yes.
when emails don't get returned because people like you are just super busy, I feel weird texting them. Yeah, I have their number or I have them on Snapchat. And then that just feels weird. But I could tell right away. I was like, this is the best way to get right back in front of your face again, for sure. So we did that. All right. So since I just hinted to it, let's give the audience a little something to stick around. Explain what I mean by the open window policy at your office, because I've never seen anyone else do this ever.
So this started probably 3 years ago. People were commenting on how much I'm always involved in the wildlife. I'm always showing videos of animals, and they had said, well, I've got a challenge for you. I bet you can't train a squirrel to do whatever you want. And I was like, well, I bet you I could get a squirrel to feed in my office. So it became a challenge and a bet. And it
Okay.
took me about a year, and I slowly trained the squirrel. I started out with a 5 gallon bucket with corn on the top, and I brought it closer, and then I even built a ramp. Some of my employees helped, and over time, I was able to open the window, and the squirrel would come feed out of my hand in my office. And the day that I got it to feed on my desk, one of my LTL drivers that was picking up something happened to run over said squirrel. So fast forward to
Uh,
about like 6 months ago, I decided, I'm going to start this back up again. So I've bought way more peanuts on Amazon than I'm proud to say, but I've
oh,
got some really well-fed squirrels. They come in my office about every day. Even my employees, if I'm not in the office, the squirrel will go into other windows, get their attention, and then meet them at my window. They'll open it up and feed
oh
it.
my
So
gosh.
it's no longer just me. That's a company wide thing, and it's fun. It makes
Wow.
the day light and something else to look forward to.
I'm willing to bet there is no other machine shop in the state of Iowa that's got somebody in the office doing something like that. That is
No,
hilarious.
I've
Yeah.
got I've got some customers that follow on Snap, and they've even started to try to implement something at their places and they haven't been able to figure it out. So it's always funny to talk business and they're like, but let's not talk about business. Talk about the squirrel. Tell me what's going on in the squirrel's life. So it's always a good icebreaker.
And then you got me. I'm assuming you got a lot of people. Maybe the guys who know you real well didn't fall for it, but when you did the thing, when you had the peanut in your hand and you said, right out of my hand for the first time, and then the next snap was your finger bandaged up, and I mean it looked
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. Yeah,
You
I got a
got
lot of
Was that
people.
April Fools or was that just
I don't remember if that was April Fools or not. It must have been but I got plenty of people.
you
Yeah.
got
Yeah,
me?
it was good.
Got me hard on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, another quick little warm-up question. We're coming off of Father's Day. You're always posting stuff of you and your wife Paige and your daughter Avery doing stuff together as a family. Did you get anything good for Father's Day?
I got my daughter got into Pokemon recently, so her and I started getting into cards. And I have some sports cards that we sent off and would get graded. So they made me a father's daughter PSA graded card that's in like a slab. So
Nice.
that's sitting next, and then handmade card from my daughter. That's always you appreciate those as
Oh
time
yeah.
goes.
Yeah. No, dude. My oldest daughter got married last year, and her and my youngest daughter both gave me handmade cards this year. It,
I love
it's
them.
Yeah, it means a lot for sure. Okay, so for those who might not know exactly who you are, or they don't follow Trophy Bucks of Iowa or anything like that, just give us a quick little snapshot. 10 seconds, who you are, what you do, kind of stuff like that.
So 39 years old, married with one daughter, live in the Des Moines, Iowa area. I am a partner. Myself and two others own Innovative Manufacturing, so we do a lot of high volume CNC lathe work. I handle all the sales. I'm also part owner of Trophy Bucks of Iowa. Me and three other gentlemen own that. It's been an absolute blast to watch that grow as
Yeah.
fast as it has. And then I'm also on the board of the Iowa Sportsman's Club. We'll get into how the outdoors is a passion of mine, and the Iowa Sportsman's Club's a great way to help instill change and the direction that I want to see things go.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I can tell. I mean, just if you guys aren't following Trophy Bucks of Iowa on Snapchat or social media, like definitely do that. It's just kind of fun. If you have any interest in wildlife or conservation, then you're going to learn something. I promise you that. Like he's got me convinced I could go buy my own land tomorrow and I could have that thing flourishing within a year. I couldn't, but he will show you what he does, and it's not. I mean, it's the same system year after year. So definitely go follow those guys. It is very worth your time. So, all right, man, let's get into the life story. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's talk about growing up. Where did you grow up? What was it like? What was the old childhood like? This is always fun.
So growing up, split family household. My parents divorced when I was only three, so I've
Hmm.
kind of known that's just what life was. So my dad always lived in the Iowa area for
Okay.
work. I grew up in a small town. Abingdon, Illinois is the town I grew up in.
Okay.
And about fifth grade, we moved to a new town called Woodhall, which is just outside the Quad Cities. If you're familiar.
Oh, we lost him. Yeah, that's funny. What'd you
I don't
do?
know what happened. I don't know. Somebody started calling me and I didn't know. So I'll have to start that over. I
Yeah.
apologize.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
It's all different family case scenarios. I consider myself fortunate. I had two sets of parents growing up. I think the best path forward was what happened. And so Abingdon, Illinois is the town I grew up in. About 5,000 people was in the town. About fifth grade, we moved to Woodhall, Illinois. So we went from 5,000 to a robust 900. so so there was a lot of people, and growing up, sports was mostly my life. I
Yeah.
slept with a basketball. I started golfing more in high school because basketball in Illinois, a lot of the basketball players didn't play football in case you got hurt, because that was the sport for our
Sure.
area. And so while a lot of friends were doing two a days, I was off playing free golf during golf season.
Well,
So my conditioning might have suffered, but I enjoyed it. And then over the summer times throughout growing up, I'd come spend the summers with my dad and stepmom. And my dad was into outdoors, so I started getting introduced to it on the weekends we'd go fishing. During the winter months, that I always, for the longest time, I thought deer season in Iowa was just a shotgun season because I would always go spend shotgun season one with my dad.
Yeah.
And that was an absolute, I look forward to that every year. It was like
Yeah.
Christmas time. So then in college, I went to St. Ambrose, which is in the Quad Cities.
Yep.
And through St. Ambrose, my journey took me to Australia and had the chance to study abroad, play some golf over in Australia. Absolute phenomenal experience. I think kids should that want to branch out should study abroad. Or I also worked in the food industry through college, and I think every kid should be a server or bartender or work with talking with people. So when I was leaving for Australia, that's actually about the same month I met my now wife, Paige.
Okay.
And honestly, I most of my hunting background I can thank her, because had I not met her and been dating her, I might have stayed in Australia. I absolutely loved it.
Really?
Phenomenal experience. Very laid back people. There was really good fishing, some hunting, not as much. And so that would have been 2006 is when I came back from Australia, and I finished out my college degree at Iowa State.
Oh,
Don't worry, I wore my Hawkeye clothes to class quite often.
attaboy. There you
So,
go.
growing up in the Quad Cities, you're either an Iowa or Illinois fan. You didn't see a lot of Iowa State. I appreciated what the business school offered at Iowa State, and it fit with what I wanted to get out. So I was able to go to Iowa State, still work while I was going to school in Des Moines, and graduated in 2009 from Iowa State. My background was business and marketing. I almost took a job through with a Major League Baseball franchise as a
What?
job. Yep,
Really?
life works out the way it does. And the week I was going to accept the job, I happenstance ran into a gentleman that knew me growing up, that owned a business in manufacturing, and just said, "Hey, come talk to me before you accept anything." And I went and talked to him, and the idea of raising a family in the future in Iowa versus the suburbs of Chicago, I just thought that it was the right decision, and my life path took me down the manufacturing role.
Oh man, that is cool when you can look back at that. Because I've had those thoughts recently, or I say that kind of stuff to my kids. Like, imagine if Iowa had a pro team and you were, I mean, okay, I'll be honest. The stories usually start when you start talking about, how many players are on an NFL team that we never see. They're on the practice squad, but they're still making a couple hundred, 300,000 a year.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
do you realize I would have killed in my younger days to have been paid $50,000 to be on a practice team, and that would have been my job. Like, but I was more getting at, like, there's plenty of other jobs. There's the ball
Oh
boys,
yeah.
there's the guys in the audio, video. They're imagine just working for a team. But I think that's where you and me are similar. Looking back now, you're just like, that was by far the better choice for a family, for a stable environment. It may have been fun to maybe go chase that other career, but look at how it worked out for you. Tremendous blessing, great choice, definitely. I love that.
Absolutely, absolutely a blessing. I mean, now it's not a disguise; it's full on blessing. But at the time, it was a tough decision. Now looking back, I'd make it 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah,
No question.
yeah, I love it. I love it. So the audience isn't going to see that I had a whole like brain freeze earlier and it just came back to me. This is how it works when you guys get past 40. All right. So I'm just going to show you this. The thing I forgot, Brandon, the thing that hung me up for so long and we finally moved on was you got to send me a picture or something of the squirrel in the office.
I
That's
can
all it was.
absolutely.
That's all it was. And I knew I wanted to get that in there. And then we hold up the whole show and we're like, let's just move on. Well, now it comes back to me when we're talking about working for a professional team.
Yeah,
Makes no sense, but that's life. That's
I
life.
can. I'll still send you a picture. I was on the computer the other day, looking to my right, because I got multiple monitors,
Uh-huh.
and as I look to my left, I have a scanner on my desk, and down below my scanner is the bucket of peanuts. And so as I scan to my left, 18 inches away is the squirrel sitting looking at me on the on the scanner, and it got me.
That's awesome. That's good stuff. All right. Let me see here. Okay. Let's talk about sports for a minute. So, basketball was your sport. Did you have
Yeah.
a number two and a number three, or was that pretty much it?
Basketball. I mean, growing up in a small town, you kind of play all the
Did them all.
sports.
Yeah.
Did them all. So basketball, golf. Golf really became my passion. My grandpa and I would go golfing all the time. He got me into it. When we moved to a new town, I didn't know anybody, and when you're going into middle school, we happened to live right on a little golf course. I called now a cow pasture with holes is what it was, but it was a golf course. So I'd go golfing all the time. My grandpa would come. So yeah, golf and basketball. I slept with a basketball every night. My ceiling was marked up for me practice shooting laying in the bed.
Okay.
Die hard. I was a Shaquille O'Neal fan growing
Oh
up.
yes. Yes.
So I
I'm
was
I'm
in
from
bed.
Louisiana, man. Shaq is
Oh
my guy.
yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
guy.
I was such a diehard Shaq fan. My stepbrother, who played sports at Eastern Illinois, and he was Jordan's assistant at Jordan camp for quite a few years and got to run all that. And would always say, "Hey, you want to participate in the Jordan camp?" And it's like, no, that's cheating on Shaq. I can't go to Jordan camp. Now looking back, that's one decision that I should have made
Yeah, you
differently.
should.
Is I should have went to Jordan camp.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I like it. That's cool.
And then I played baseball just like the last couple of years of high school.
Okay.
Otherwise, that was basketball and golf really took over my main focus.
And now I could tell I knew you were going to say golf at some point because you do so you just got done with one of the big golf charity event that you do, right? Why don't you tell us a little bit
Yep.
about that?
Yeah. So the Cabin Fever golf
Yeah.
tournament I put on every year. It started out as just I used to play slow pitch softball with a group of guys, and the first few years I said, hey, let's have a fundraiser golf tournament. Not everybody can pay for hotels going to tournaments and different things
Yeah.
like that. So like, hey, let's raise some funds and cover the fees. And probably the third or fourth year into the tournament, a lot of us quit playing, getting older. It hurts
Yeah.
playing those sports.
Yeah.
And but the tournament was such a success that nobody wanted to see it go away, and it raised a good amount of money. So I said, well, let's just keep it going. And then every year we'll just pick a random charity or nonprofit in Iowa,
Okay.
and most of the time we didn't even let them know that we chose them, and then we would either anonymously or I had a friend that helps me put it on, runs a bank, and he handles all the financials from the tournament, would just write a check from Bank of America and hand deliver it to a charity. And the goal was just let's bless as many
Sure.
deserving charities. A couple times there was families that were really in need that,
Oh,
the kids were going through leukemia or something like that. So like, let's pay for travel.
love it.
Um,
Love it.
so this year was the 15th year, and now this year we partnered with the Iowa Sportsman's Club that I'm on the board for. So that's going to help with lots of youth organizations and fundraising towards different things. So
Sure. I love it. I love it. And for the people who aren't following Trophy Bucks of Iowa on Snapchat, give us a rundown of some of those. I mean, those prizes, if anyone wants to be a part of a charity golf tournament, I mean, I know it sells out really quick, so you got to get in quick, right?
yeah, there's 36 teams of four, and this year it sold out in like 7 or 8 hours. All 36
Okay.
teams. The first day I announced it, it was sold out.
Yeah.
Had a wait list that I could have probably filled 2 or 3 days, multiple. But we have tables and tables of prizes we've got local, like, there's, obviously outdoors. GSM donates trail cameras, and Vortex donates binoculars,
Yeah.
and, all the outdoors connections. They obviously help out in a lot of events like this. There's a local liquor distributor that
Yep.
donates tons of those promotional items that people enjoy hanging on, the walls in the basement or
Yeah.
garage. Tons of apparel, shirts. Obviously, there's a lot of Trophy Bucks of Iowa stuff.
Yep.
Um, Food plot seed, just you name it. It takes us probably 2 hours to go through all the raffles because there's so many items, and that was my goal. It's lunch, golf, beverages, and raffle tickets, inexpensive, so it's easy for people to get in,
Hmm.
and they have a good time. We want it to be low stress, a lot of fun. Just wanted to look forward to every year.
Yeah.
So we have people flying in from Florida and driving from North Dakota and all over the place every year to play in it.
Dude, it looks like a great event. I mean, when you give the scan of some of these raffle prizes and stuff, and it's like a whiskey barrel, and then yeah, all this man cave decor, and then hunting stuff, and it's just there's something for everybody. I love it. If you ever have a short list of charities or just organizations you want to support, I help out with Alive and Running Iowa. That's mental health. It started out as
Yep.
suicide prevention, but that was
Wow.
back in 2010, and now it's gone full on 24/7, 365 mental health. And man, it's just a super good organization. A couple small town local guys here started it because a classmate committed suicide, and they're
Yeah.
just in it now all the time. It's and I know they always need money. They're always doing fundraisers and 5Ks, and we do a 5K every year and stuff like that. So put them on your short list, man. If you ever got a year
Yeah,
looking for
absolutely.
somebody, that
I
they're
love hearing. I mean, you hate to know that there's a need for these, but the fact is there is a need for
yeah,
them. It takes money to run these, and they make a
yep,
difference. So
yep.
I love hearing that it's there and it's making a difference in
Oh
people's
yeah,
lives.
for sure, for sure. All right, man. Let's talk about the family a little bit. We kind of touched on it just for a minute there. I can just tell by following you on social media and stuff like that. Like, wife and daughter are number one to you. You're definitely a present, an intentional dad, an intentional husband, and stuff like that. So, why don't you just tell us a little bit about family and what it means to you?
Yeah, I mean, family means everything, obviously,
Sure.
but my daughter Avery, she's 6. It's been, it 6 years isn't that long, but you almost forget what it was like life prior to having kids.
Yeah.
She just graduated kindergarten. She's definitely my mini me. She enjoys sports, loves going to the farm. I never, people always talk about, oh, outdoors, it's a good way for you to get away and have alone time. I want every time I go in the outdoors, if my wife and daughter want to go, it's the best time ever to go.
Sure.
I enjoy. So she just got done playing softball. My wife, she played softball up at Iowa State and then Grandview. So sports is big into her life.
Oh,
As much as a sports person as I am, she is hands down leaps and bounds a far more sports oriented person than I am.
I would have.
It
I didn't guess that. I
Yeah. And
mean,
matter of fact, there's sports on upstairs. I can hear her. She'll watch. She loves hockey, baseball. Matter of fact, I got into a fantasy baseball league and she took it over. It was too much every day doing it. Now she's the commissioner. She handles it all. So she's doing phenomenal. But when we go down to the farm all the time, and Paige doesn't always go, but my daughter will go almost every time. She loves snakes. Not every
yep.
little girl loves snakes, but
No.
we uh we go down there and look for those. We just did a trip out to Wyoming not long ago, and I want my daughter to experience that I get to experience. So I always look at what's a trip that we can do that is both fun for us as adults, but something that Avery's gonna absolutely love.
Yeah.
And so she loves fossils and anything outside. So we just went to Southeast Wyoming, or Southwest Wyoming, sorry, a few weeks ago,
Yep.
and went on a fossil hunting adventure. So that as much outdoors and business travel I do, it's all second tier. If there's a family oriented thing we can go do,
Yeah.
that immediately takes priority.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. And see that what I like is, and I say this routinely on the podcast, is people are craving just authentic, genuine content. You know,
Yep.
everything is super polished nowadays. Everything has got, how many filters applied to it, and it's just got to be perfect before you put it out there. You share in the truck on the way to the farm with my daughter. You show her holding those snakes, lifting the tin up off the ground, finding the snakes. You show the fossil hunting expedition. People want to just see that genuine content. They really do. That's my whole theory for the podcast. Think about it. If dysfunctional families like the Kardashians can get a reality show, what makes them
Yes.
special? There's so much stuff messed up,
I
about
think
the
I think
priorities of people.
as long as this everyday stuff that you do, it's relatable. And I think
Yep.
you look back at even the hunting TV shows back in the day, it was just kill shot after kill shot after kill shot, and that's no longer what's popular.
Nope.
People enjoy seeing the troubles, and you
Yep.
know, I get more responses when I drop. I was in the tree stand, and one of the targets came in, and there was a doe underneath me, and I'm like Snapchatting the deer, and my bow's still attached to the rope down on the ground. Most of the time, people aren't going to show that because it
Nope.
shows that I'm a doofus. But that's the fun part. I
Yep.
enjoy showing my snacks. I enjoy
That's right.
doing things that usually probably don't share me in a good light as far as smartness. But hey, that's relatable. We all do it.
Yep. Yep. Hey, you put yourself in a big camp when you let people know you're a Christmas tree cake kind of guy. I mean, there's a lot
Yes.
of us out there, man, for sure.
I enjoy the Christmas trees.
Yeah. No, that sounds good. I mean, in your notes that you sent me, you said, life really revolves around four things for me: family, the outdoors, new adventures, and building the best business I can. And that's pretty much, we've covered most of that. Let's talk a little bit about the business thing, because that, when I first found you on social media, I was like, okay, he's Trophy Bucks of Iowa. And then I started gathering, okay, there's a few other guys that are involved with that. And you guys do the sports show, and you got apparel, and you got your own products for, growing stuff, the frost seed, the kill zone, all that stuff, which you can find right now at what, West Des Moines Shields, right?
Fields have it. Yep. Yep. And on our
Shameless plug.
website.
And yeah, just go to the website, Trophy Bucks of Iowa. If you want anything along that nature, just go right to them and get it. But and then I come to find out, okay, no, that's like your side gig, that's your passion. You're actually involved in this machine shop, and that's kind of my world as far as running a CNC multicam router and stuff like that. But you guys are probably machining parts and stuff, whereas I'm running, aluminum skins for ambulances and parts for ambulances and stuff like that. It's kind of different, but kind of the same.
Yeah.
But I could see this heart for business and small business, because I believe you shared something one time, like you flew out to California and it was a small business association type thing, and Ryan Reynolds was speaking, and I was like, this dude isn't just like, getting out of the shop for a while. He's into small business and entrepreneurship and things like that, or else you wouldn't be doing Trophy Bucks of Iowa and this kind of stuff both. So talk a little bit about business and why that is a passion for you.
Yeah. I think, I have a lifestyle that I really want. It's hard with just a standard 9 to 5 to really support it. And I've always been one that I don't dabble in something.
Okay.
I go all in. And I think in my business, I also take very seriously the impact I have on the surrounding people around me in the community. And so with our innovative manufacturing and engineering, me and the two partners, we take it very seriously. We want to impact our employees' lives to the fullest we can, and we also want to impact the community around us. And so we put a lot of effort, not just into being a CNC machine shop that the owners get to take a nice check from and the rest is blinded to us. We probably put more focus on what our future 3, 5, 10-year target plan is, and how does that implicate the areas around us, our community. And I was fortunate enough to be introduced to Goldman Sachs puts on this program called the 10,000 Small Business Program.
Yeah.
And it's for business owners can join in. And it's basically like an advanced MBA course for business owners that you go through.
Okay.
And it teaches you a better way to run the business. And then you also get a network with, I think now it's over 20,000 business owners throughout the United States. And so now I'm networked speaking, a lot of times as a business owner, conversations can get somewhat lonely because the average person can't talk, not at the level, but they can't comprehend what owning a business is like. And so a lot of times I try to avoid talking about it because I don't want, it's just not relatable conversation.
Yeah.
So you get a network of other business owners. And through that 10,000 Small Business Program, I was nominated to join the advocacy program and represent Iowa. And so the advocacy program is where business owners get to start working with legislation. So I was even flying out to Washington, D.C., meeting at Capitol Hill with Senator Joni Ernst and Chuck Grassley, and people talking about like what struggles do small businesses have, what can happen better, what policies, how are they affecting. And I never thought I'd get into politics, but I take seriously the opportunities that are presented and want to represent myself and other businesses in the best way I can. So it's opened a lot of great doors. So our business has been growing fairly rapidly. We've probably tripled our employees in the last 3 years. Went from kind of a small job shop, low quantity, to now we're all high volume manufacturing. I think our highest volume job is about 500,000 pieces a year. And then recently getting into aerospace and defense work as well. So we're certified the whole business to still do what we're doing now, but then also add a section of our business that's going to be focusing on things that go in the air, infrastructure, and yeah.
That's cool.
So,
I like that. You can always tell when you're talking to a business guy when they start talking about 3, 5, 10-year projection plans, expanding the business into this market, stuff like that, man. I love it. That's good stuff.
It's a lot of work, but it's worth doing.
Sure, sure.
Do you want me to get in a little bit about what Trophy Bucks of Iowa is?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Okay. Yeah, so Trophy Bucks of Iowa, Eric and Mark Klein created it. Oh gosh, this has probably been 8 or 9 years ago now. And it initially started out as just they wanted a Facebook page for a close group of friends
Yep.
to be able to, when they go on hunting trips, share and kind of just a group chat bragging board.
Okay.
And I've always been involved in the outdoors. I was heavily involved in Iowa whitetail. It's a chat forum. Still get great information on
Oh
Iowa
yeah, yeah.
whitetail. And I was getting messages from this Trophy Bucks of Iowa on my Facebook, which I wasn't quite sure who they were. They're like, "Hey, can we share the? I caught a big muskie. Can we share your muskie?" Which I don't think you can see it, but it's right above where I'm sitting now. And I said, "Yeah, go ahead and share it." And then I was took my dog out shed hunting, and we found like 40 sheds that day. And hey, can I share this? And there was, I don't know, maybe 600 or so followers on, and it was expanding. More people
Sure.
wanted to, they enjoyed seeing positive reinforcement and people enjoying what they had, whether it was a doe or a buck or just a fun time. And so at that time, I finally messaged and said, "Hey, if I post it, I'm as open book as it gets. You're welcome to share anything on my Facebook." And Eric had reached out a few weeks later and said, "Hey, I want you to be a part of this. I think we can grow it to something, but your lifestyle is exactly what I want Trophy Bucks of Iowa to be like."
Okay.
And although you'll see me a lot on the stories and my Snap, the whole message of Trophy Bucks of Iowa is it's not about any particular individual. We
Sure.
want it to be about you and your experience.
Yep.
And if it's a kid going out and memorizing their first time ever hunting with grandpa, or the word trophy buck, it's really not about how big the deer is. It's mostly about the memory and what it means
Yep.
to you.
Yep.
And we had touched base earlier on making things relatable and how people like that. And I think that's why TBI has really excelled and grown. It's not about any one person. It's not just about how big the buck is. It's about the memory and what it means to the individual. And kind of like my business, and we want to impact the outdoors. We take what Trophy Bucks of Iowa represents, who we impact, youth organizations, veteran organizations, very important to Trophy Bucks of Iowa, and we try to support all that around. And I think that's just really helped it gain traction and grow to what it is today. I think our busiest month was on Facebook and Instagram was about 42 million devices over the month of, I think it was December this year, was 42 million.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have a lot of traffic. I didn't think of that like that. We better let people know just because it's called Trophy Bucks of Iowa that it to the outsider it gives a certain connotation. It's not. You guys always you do stuff with the youth. You always take a couple different kids out at different times for their first hunts or their youth hunts, and then when it comes time to posting pictures, you guys will get every kid or every as many people on there as you can that share like that is super relatable. My daughters have all had their deer posted on your Facebook or on wherever else it is. That's good community that people want to be a part of and share and those kinds of memories and stuff like that. That's good stuff. But when you share these videos of how you're going about your different land, your different farms and stuff like that, you make it so simple. You kind of just show step by step. Here, we're going to clear this today. Here's my vision for this. And then here, we're going to use, plant our corn, put our fence up so the deer don't kill the corn before it can grow. And then in wintertime, you show us, hey, spring's coming. Let's get your frost seed down. Here's how easy it is. You don't got to have a tractor if you want to just get some clover to come out of the ground and stuff like that. And you guys offer those products, but you also show people how to use them as well.
When you share as much about what you do on a daily basis, I got to the point where I would just share something, but I wouldn't explain what I was doing. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was responding, and I try on Snapchat. I try to respond to every single person that messages me, and it gets to be a lot. But I think
Sure.
their message is just as important as the 20th and 50th. So and finally I was like, if I explain it more of why I'm doing things,
Yeah.
maybe I can just get better at that. And I always try to tell people I'm not always doing things the best way. This is just the way that I do it. And
Yep.
actually, I've adapted how I do a lot of things by some Snapchats of people that, there's a lot of more knowledgeable people than
Sure.
I am out there. And they'll say, "Hey, good job. This is what I've learned worked for me." And then I'll
Yeah.
adapt it. And I think it just helps out everybody if you
Yep.
can share what you do and why you do it. I enjoy seeing people that never thought they would even want to get into bow hunting and just said, "Man, I just enjoy how happy you appear. So here, I got a bow. Now tell me what do I do? I want to go bow hunting." And that makes it all worthwhile for me.
Yeah.
I love it.
Oh, that's good, man. Trophy Bucks of Iowa doing more than what you'd think. You'd think, hey, just get a picture of your. Not everybody's a Tim Nuss. All right,
That's
you
right.
want some joy. You want some community. You want some happiness. Follow Trophy Bucks of Iowa. There we go. I like it. Something else I was going to bring up if we had time, and we do, was something we don't relate to each other on is you got this passion for astronomy, and you're self-proclaimed kind of a geek about it. You like this stuff, and so I'm reading my nice little polished notes over here, talking about your passion for nature and creation and astronomy, stuff like that. And so my question is, like, do you ever if you're into that stuff, looking into the stars and how expansive it is, being out in the woods all the time, seeing the wildlife, seeing how complex the ecosystem works, and just the nature side of the circle of life, and just the creation side of things, do you ever kind of get caught, like, or ever slow down to think about how overwhelmingly complex and magnificent it is? Like there has to be a creator, a designer behind it all. Because some people just think it's a random chance over billions of years, and everything, when you look up and everything we see around us, it's just kind of random chance and billions of years. I was kind of interested, like, does that ever hit you, being into that stuff, that, man, this is awesome. There's got to be
Oh,
something behind it.
absolutely.
All right.
I think all the time I'll stop and always try to put myself in the moment, and back to all the things you were saying, that I'm self-proclaimed, from the stars and the fossils and all that. I'll just I'm a nerd.
Okay,
I'll
there you
say that
go.
I'm a nerd, because it's just stuff that I don't know. I just want to get to know, and you look out and all this vastness, and there's just some stuff that's really cool. And if
Yeah.
it seems really cool, like I said, I don't dabble. I want to get to know it, and yeah, and I sit back and think, and I'm also what are the chances of me being here in this moment, getting to see what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think about it. I appreciate it.
Cool.
I enjoy it. So back in middle school, we got to go on a mission trip through my youth church program in
Okay.
Illinois. We went to Guatemala, and we got
Oh,
to
wow.
build churches, and in like this remote banana forest jungle on this mountainside. And you don't that and the outback are probably the only two places that would compare, to where it's like you can reach out and grab the stars. It messes with you on how vast and
Sure.
beautiful it is. But a good eye-opening experience, one, going to Guatemala and seeing how fortunate we are,
Yeah.
where we're
Yep.
at. Another thing that I think a lot of youth should do is go on mission trips like that.
Absolutely.
It brings their life back into perspective and can maybe reordinate themselves.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully
we had Phil Robertson's daughter on a few episodes ago, and her and her husband Tony, and they were missionaries in Nicaragua, and kind of same thing you said, and I've said it to my kids. You need to commit to going on a mission trip. I only went on one here in the States to Alabama, but you go to a poor neighborhood somewhere where people don't got money to fix the bathroom that's sinking through the main floor of their house, or their deck is falling apart. People, and they have no money. Take a week, go serve in a way that benefits you zero, and it's all like, it changes you. It helps you appreciate what you do have, for sure. It definitely puts things in perspective. So I'm with you on that one, for sure.
and I definitely try to always keep things in perspective. It's social media today. 90% of it's people complaining about stuff,
Yeah.
and I got a few friends that call me. I'm an eternal optimist, because it doesn't matter what the situation is. I could
Yeah.
be sinking in a boat out in the middle of the ocean. I'll be like, man, what a beautiful place to sink, I always try, and I instill it in my daughter as well. It's like, anytime catch ourselves complaining about something, it's like, hey, let's take a step back, realize that there's a lot worse out there that can be happening. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I'm a eternal optimist, they call
Wow.
me, because
I like it. Everybody needs one of those friends, because, yeah, when stuff gets low, you're going to be glad that you have that guy or girl in your life,
exactly.
for sure, man. Because, yeah, it always can be worse. So, yeah,
Yep.
I'm
Don't
just not.
focus on the negatives. Find
There you
positives in
go.
everything.
There you go. I'm just now, for some reason, I'm getting back on this American Chopper kick. When my first daughter was born back in like '04, and we were in the hospital, and they had cable in the hospital. And I don't know if we had it or what, but I found American Chopper. They were running a marathon. Rember that TV show about
Oh
little
yeah,
bikes?
yeah.
You remember how much those guys fought, the father and son? They fought.
Oh,
Now I'm like going back
absolutely.
through it, and I'm just like looking at my kids like, yeah, I'm not the best, but aren't you glad we don't have a relationship like that? Because they just butted heads, man.
Yes, that was part of the show almost. They did
It
it so
really
much.
was.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was. It was. Okay, so you mentioned small business, talking with the senators and stuff like that, doing things. I just love that comment because if our politicians, our representatives, if they want to understand how policy affects regular people, whether it's you as the small business owner, who also sees the employee side of things, uh, to me, that's how it's done. They need to see how policy affects, the various people out there that they represent. I love that. But you had put a Snapchat out one day that you were heading to the Capitol here in Iowa, in Des Moines, and sitting on like a subcommittee meeting or something about, I can't remember exactly what the issue was. So I'm going to ask you to explain that because I remember it was very interesting to me and I started snapping you about it and you explained it to me. And so I understood, okay, so we're on this side of the issue, right? And you said, yes, that's what we want to see happen. But the people on the subcommittee don't know that unless people like you or hunters like us let them know, hey, the deer population is thinning and has been for a long time. So, explain
Yeah,
to me a little
so
bit about that.
I mentioned earlier that I'm on the board of the Iowa Sportsman's Club, and it was created simply, not simply for, but a lot for this exact issue where
Okay.
there would be a lot of legislative things that come through Iowa that would get passed through, and there's simply no known. People don't realize that they can go down and make their voice heard, and a lot of these issues get passed with zero representation on the other side going against it. So there was a bill that was coming that was up for vote, and it was to increase deprivation tags and also increase bigger urban hunts, doe allocation tags, and
Hmm.
it's for people that don't know, Iowa, which is a premier. We're very blessed to live in the state of Iowa for liking to hunt
Yeah.
deer,
Yeah.
but our population is hurting. It's about as bad as it's been for years from multiple years of EHD and all kinds of different reasons. So at this bill, State Farm Insurance and Farm Bureau and some other, the Farm Bureau is the main one, but they have these paid lobbyists that go in support of these, and rarely are there people that are in opposition. So
Right.
and at any point in time that there's a bill like this being proposed, it's public information when it's being discussed. It's open door. Anybody can go and voice their opinion. And so we went down. I went, representative Iowa Sportsman's Club, and a few of us was there, along with Iowa Bow Hunters Association and a few others. And they give you basically 30 seconds to give your opinion on it, and
Okay.
if you're for or against. And the three that were voting, one of them is known. He's anti-deer. He's a farmer, kind of the I want all deer killed because all they do is eat our crops. And he's
Yeah.
been known to go to bat against deer. So him and two others. And we thought best case scenario, we could get one to not vote, and then one would be a yes and a no, and maybe we can get it pushed
Sure. Yep.
down the road. And so we gave our opinions. Farm Bureau gave their opinion, and thankfully they took our information, the facts that we gave, the opinions. Also, I spoke from the audience of Trophy Bucks of Iowa. We get a lot of messages, and
Sure.
we represent a large number of people. And they flipped the vote, and to a surprise, they chose no, not to move that forward. And had we not been representative, that would not have happened. It would have just moved through like
Would have went
previous
the other way.
bills.
Yeah.
And there's bills that go through, and you're like, how on earth did this pass? Well, that's exactly how some of the times these pass. There's nobody there to represent the opposition.
Sure. If they're getting
Um,
input only from one side, you're probably going to side with that side,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like
And if you're
anything
not,
else.
and two of the three senators were not familiar with, whitetail hunting or deer in general, aside you see them driving down the road.
Sure.
So they take the information presented, have their team there's like in time fact checking going
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And then they have to make the best decision moving forward because there's a lot of decisions that have to be made on each day. And they took our information, took it to heart, and made their decision based on it. And we were able to get a vote, what I think is in our favor,
Sure. Yeah.
towards not in increasing tags.
I love that. They need the input from a certain group of people as well so they can understand both sides of the issue because yeah, I started deer hunting Volga Park up here in Northeast Iowa in Fayette, which is pretty much the biggest park around up here. And when we started 20 years ago, it literally scared me. And I'm shotgun one all the way, and then I got into bow hunting, and then as we started having kids, I realized okay, I can't spend the whole fall out in the tree stand, and plus I just wasn't that good of a shot with a bow if the deer was still moving. But that first shotgun season and the first few years, man, it was shots all day long. And I can't remember how many acres Volga Park is, but it's gigantic. And it scared me and my brother-in-law. We were just getting into it with our father-in-law and our uncle and stuff like that. And and there's so many people, you know what I mean? Like it was just flat. I mean, just from then to now, I've hunted my same spot for the last like 10 years. I never see anybody anymore. The Amish, they help us push the deer around and stuff like that. They keep it active. But you can just drive the park and we all just check in with each other. Everyone just, what'd you get? Have you seen this? And it's just gone downhill. I mean, just
Yeah.
straight downhill over the years, every year, less and less and less and less. And it's like, yeah, the hunting, unless now, like you manage the land and stuff like that, and you've got a great thing going there. And then Southern Iowa is like, that's where all the record bucks are and all that stuff. But
You
if
had
you're
you had a
talking
pretty
just,
big one. You had a pretty big one taken up in Fayette County a few years ago, right?
yeah, who, Nusses?
Oh yeah.
Nusses, yeah, people thought that was like Photoshop because that one nasty looking drop tine, it didn't
Yeah.
look right in the picture. And I was like, dude, I worked with that guy for a while. Like that was legit. His head was all smashed. I mean, he had like a flat top. That guy was
Oh
a
yeah.
brute. But yeah, but Nuss is one of those guys, man. He's out there all the time and he deserved it. I mean, he puts in a lot of time, but yeah, I like that they need the input. And I like that there's guys like you who are willing, hey, if that's what your whole sportsman's club is there for, to give input to the people who don't have it so they can make an informed decision. So that's good. That's really good. All right, for fun, let's talk about food for a little bit. I don't know if you've always been that way, but it seems like there's been a shift where us guys, whether it's a smoker or a flat top griddle or whatever, but we're the cooks now. And you're no different. All the stuff you put on Snapchat, again, guys, follow Trophy Bucks of Iowa on Snap. You want some good recipes? I've snapped Brandon a couple times. Hey, give me that recipe again for that Cajun remoulade sauce, and he'll hook you up, man. He's always doing stuff like that. Never heard of a sous vide, and I'm like, what is he doing now? What the heck is a sous vide? And then I watched you do these deer steaks. So, tell us a little bit about the stuff you cook and your passion for that and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I think so I'm allergic to beef. So
Oh, wow.
when you see me eating venison all the time or wild, I'm obviously passionate about the animals that I harvest, and I love, even before I was allergic to beef, we ate a lot of venison.
Sure.
But yeah, like 7 years ago, I got bit by that Lone Star tick, so I have alpha gal now that I'm highly allergic to beef. So
Wow.
if I had to be allergic to anything, beef's probably not a terrible thing because I eat a lot of deer, and
Yeah.
deer and elk and all that doesn't affect me. I introduce a lot of friends to the outdoors and a lot of people that aren't outdoor related. And so I always want to try to come up with really good, elaborate meals, and I don't want to eat the same thing over and over
Yep.
again. So my wife and I are always trying new recipes, and just like everything else I do, I'm an open book, so I share
Yeah.
about everything. So I figured if I'm sharing it, let's make it worthwhile. And so we try to look up awesome recipes, and if they stick and they work, we keep them going. So we have people over 2 or 3 nights a week probably to have some venison meals. They'll request, hey, can you make this? It was really good last time. My college roommate lives down off the ocean in Florida, so when you see me down fishing
Okay.
there, that's we go there a few times on his boat. So we did that
Nice.
remoulade sauce we made was with snapper
Oh man.
from the trip to Florida. People always tell me that I need to make make a cookbook. And I say, well, just save my recipes on Snapchat long enough, and then you make it and send me a copy, and then I'll be happy to use it. And just like everything, we're passionate at whatever we're doing, we dive into, and cooking is a blast. We have memories and a lot of time put into going out and doing these hunts or going fishing. And so, why not look forward every night to having an awesome meal that we made? So, we enjoy it. My daughter even gets in now and loves helping cook as well.
Yeah. Oh, guys, I'm telling you, you got to check it out. Like the venison, like Mongolian.
Oh, yeah.
It's Mongolian beef, but it ain't beef. It's venison.
Yeah. It's like beef and broccoli, but it's venison. We had shepherd's pie the other night. Yep. Stuffed peppers tonight. I can smell them cooking. Let's see.
Pounding out wild turkey breast and panko.
Oh yeah, panko turkey. You bet. The sous vide. I saw a video on it and thought I have to try that. Look up what a sous vide is. It's so easy. I mean, I always tell people if I can do it, anybody can do it. Sure. It is the easiest possible thing to use, and it'll be one of the best steaks you ever cook.
Sure. There, see, guys. So there's more than just being into hunting or anything Trophy Bucks of Iowa has to offer. If anything, just follow him to learn some of these awesome recipes and stuff like that. It's really cool. He's worth the follow. It's very interesting. But if people are into this stuff and for some reason they've been under a rock and they've never heard of Trophy Bucks of Iowa, what's your website? Where can they connect with you guys, see your stuff, all that good stuff?
Yeah, so Trophy Bucks of Iowa on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, our website, Trophy Bucks of IA.
All right, guys, that's going to do it for part 1 with Trophy Bucks of Iowa's Brandon Dahms. I hope his story and the things he shared, the things we talked about, I hope it encouraged you, maybe even enlightened you a little bit. He just said it right there, like his way may not be the best way, but he's open to people sharing other ways, and you can learn and always do better when we share information like that. That's pretty good. So I hope that educated you a little bit, maybe even challenged you, for all you guys out there who think your way is the best way. Not always. Always be willing to listen to other people, for sure. Okay. Everybody's got a story to tell or an experience to share. And that's what we do here. That's what I'm trying to do. We just let people share what life has been like for them, what kind of experiences they've had. But this is not the end of Brandon's episode. There's going to be a part 2 next week, as always. We're going to get into his segments. We're probably going to have some laughs. I'm willing to bet we're going to have some laughs, but we're going to get a little serious at the end too, because Brandon has chosen a few topics that other guests have just shied away from. But Brandon's not too scared of them. It's just his opinion anyway, so what's it matter? You can take it or leave it. And we're talking about AI. We're talking about vaccines. We're talking about immigration. We're talking about Doge. If we can get them all in, we're going to cover all those. So you're going to want to come back next week and watch that one for sure. Or listen if you're a podcast listener. But this is in video. So don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share. If you enjoyed this at all, you got to do those things. Wherever you're listening or watching, follow our Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok for more encouraging stuff. Don't forget Trophy Bucks of Iowa. Go to their website, go to their Snapchat, go to their Instagram, follow those guys for good stuff. If you got questions, if you got comments or ideas, or maybe you want some What Is Up merch, I'm not even wearing one of my shirts, but if you want a shirt with my logo in the background there, we do sell the shirts pretty much at cost. We're just trying to get some advertising out there. That's it. We're not in it to make a profit whatsoever. So email me, whatisuppodcast@gmail.com, and my wife, she will hook you up. I promise. If you need help or you want to talk deeper about something you heard here today, just reach out. I'll respond. If it's something for Brandon, reach out. We'll respond as best as we can. So thank you guys so much for listening. It means a lot to me. Lord willing, I'll talk to you on the next one.
See you next week.
Perfect. Perfect.